Well, welcome to Mystical Adventures. My name is Vivian, and I am so delighted that you've joined me for this show. We were having some minor technical difficulties, but everything seems to sound okay now. So hopefully you can hear me clearly. I've got my red earpiece with a mic in, so hopefully you can hear me. Welcome to Mystical Adventures, where we explore all things creative, mystical, inspiring, intuitive, and healing in an integrative way. I'm a very integrative artist, clairvoyant, and intuitive life coach. And at least I intend for this show to be mystical and inspiring and integrative, like me. So excited you're here. Happy almost Halloween, Samhain, All Saints Day. It's coming right up. So is the election. I thought the election here in America, I wasn't sure what I was going to talk about tonight. So I decided not to talk about the holiday coming up, even though it's a very mystical, magical time of year with astral projection and communing with the spirits being popular topics around this holiday time of Hallows Eve. Before I get to the topic I do want to talk about tonight, and then a caller, I want to just remind you that I am changing the time of this show. This show is going to change from the current time to Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time starting next week. So for good or bad, it will be starting on Election Day here in America on Tuesday. That I will be starting my Tuesday at 4 p.m. slot. So I was really glad that the A1R was able to accommodate me, and I am looking forward to the new time. So I hope you can join me. And if that's not a convenient time for you, you can listen to the archive, you can listen to the podcast. So what are you going to talk about today, Anne? I was inspired to talk about motivation today. Motivation of all things. Well, I have noticed in my circles of loved ones, friends, family, and clients that there seems to be a very intense theme, synchronistic even this week, of people confessing they've just lost all drive and motivation, man. I just don't want to do anything, Anne. I'm struggling to find the desire to lift a finger. And I think there's a few reasons for this. I think it's collective, and I can certainly relate. The past few months, I have had to work extra hard at deliberately, intentionally stoking the fires of inspiration and motivation. And sometimes it felt more successful than others. I did go through a cycle where I was not as productive as I usually am this year. So I feel the basic amount of astrology I know leads me to suspect that Mercury retrograde and Mars retrograde have a lot to do with a communal lack of motivation. Also, in America, our upcoming election has a lot of people dealing with the energies related to this election. And obviously, we're in the time of the pandemic, 2020. So, of course, with all of the factors that go into this year of the pandemic, the isolation, the changing of our schedules and our lives, the shutdowns, the fear, the illness, death, all of the factors have been affecting us. How could they not? And I think it's important to recognize that it's normal for to a certain extent, to just feel this shift. And for different people, that means different things. But tonight I wanted to talk about ways we can address the lack of motivation. Perhaps you're feeling motivated. Are you feeling motivated? Are you feeling inspired? Perhaps you are more inspired sometimes than others. You go through cycles. I wanted to talk tonight about some ways we can naturally shift into being more motivated and more inspired even if that doesn't mean we are the same energy and level and type of motivation and inspiration as 2019, we're in 2020. It's a different kind of energy. And I believe that provides a different kind of opportunity to transform and use our collective resources and individual resources to help us be as motivated as possible in this particular time. So I wanted to go over before I get to that. Oh, by the way, those affected by Hurricane Zeta, I just want to say my heart goes out to you. I know a lot of people have power outages tonight. So I just wanted to, along with everything else, just acknowledge that is going on. And the angel of the week that I felt came out this week is Raphael, the angel of healing, which we could always use the angel of healing, right? Welcome, Raphael. And I feel that Raphael is guiding us to remember to remain calm, remain centered, even in the swirling vortexes of uncertainty, even amongst chaos and other people's confusion. Tune into your own center. And this is the center that connects you with spirit, with God, goddess, higher consciousness, divinity. Even if the people around you are freaking out, that doesn't mean that you have to. You can remain centered and you don't have to internalize other people's experiences. So, Raphael, thank you for this message. Let's talk about ways to increase our motivation right now. And I'm talking about positive ways to increase our motivation. Sometimes people talk about sort of negative reinforcement ways of helping us have more drive and ambition, such as, I got to make more money so that I can eat, so that I can afford to, pay my bills. And I think those are legit. Today, I'm going to talk about more inspiring, positive ways to increase our inspiration. And I believe when we increase our inspiration, it increases our motivation. So health, taking care of your health. If you're feeling a lack of drive, is it because your body is not functioning is not firing on all cylinders? And one of the things we can do is just basic self-care, right? Exercising regularly, eating proper nutrition, making sure you get enough sleep. These basic things can help give the foundation for your mental health, for your spiritual health, for inspiration and motivation. Do you ever just feel you're just having a bad day? Everything just seems wrong. Everybody's driving you crazy. And then you go for a little brisk walk and all of a sudden it clears your head. You feel so much better. This is something really simple but powerful we can do. There's also energy hygiene, taking care of your psychic energy. Are you meditating? Are you doing visualization? Are you using some way to cleanse your energy? This is really important too. And it can help you release other people's energy, other darker, lower energies to help you raise your vibration and have a more sparkly, inspired energy. Social connections. Isolation is something that can lead to depression. It can lead to, just getting stuck in our head and thinking too much and ruminating in not a good way. So reach out to your social circle. Reach out, Zoom call someone, go visit someone if it's appropriate according to your circumstances and social distancing, etc. Try and connect with people in some way, shape, or form. There's lots of online groups you can join, and this can help get the energy flowing too. We can get out of our head, get some perspective. We can feel validated by other people. Oh my gosh, you too are feeling such a lack of motivation. Yes, and this is driving me crazy, but I found this helped. Oh, okay, I didn't think of that. Well, that did help me before when I was running more. I did feel more inspired. So the energy starts to flow, and that social connection can really help you shift out of an isolated, sort of stagnant place. Another piece of advice I have is to keep in mind the big picture. Speaking of perspective, keep in mind we're in a cycle right now, and that's how consciousness works, right? That's how the universe works, and that's how humans go through our experience. Things happen in cycles. So we're in a particular place collectively right now as a planet, and you're in a particular place right now individually and also in your family. And this cycle is not going to last forever. These cycles change, and keeping in mind that if you're in a cycle of feeling lack of motivation or stagnation, it's probably going to change. It will change, and it won't last forever. Sometimes these things just happen naturally, and you're in a personal cycle of release or reflection, and it's not as natural to feel as energetic or as much drive because you're putting your energy towards what is appropriate to your personal cycle of growth, which is release, maybe perhaps turning inward. So keep in mind the big picture here, that cycles are about change, and the cycle we're in is probably going to change. Focus on small successes. Are you a perfectionist? I know I have that streak in me sometimes, and I know when I confront that and ask myself, am I aiming too high? Am I being too hard on myself? Am I being unrealistic? It can help to open up the energy for me, and I can feel more possibilities. So small successes, acknowledge the progress you have made, and focus on small steps you can take. Don't worry about Rome wasn't built in a day. It's a cliche, but it also has a lot of wisdom in that idea. One step at a time, one brick at a time. And that's how most large projects and innovations are completed, one step at a time. Also, your spiritual practice. Are you practicing whatever way is right for you to connect with spirit? Are you using prayer or meditation? Do you use music spiritually or art? Whatever your practice is, this can be another amazing multidimensional way to expand your consciousness, tune into inspiration from expanded spheres. I also would like to suggest that you reflect on what inspires you. What has inspired you in the past? Is it art, music, poetry, cars, the stock market, fashion, real estate? I don't know why I keep thinking of real estate and the stock market. Whatever inspires you, whatever has inspired you in the past, perhaps it's time to get reconnected. It is 8:46, and I'm going to do just a really quick guided meditation with you tonight. And it's just going to take a few seconds to help you tune into your inspiration. Obviously, please don't do this if you're driving and listening. What I'd like you to do, let's all take a deep breath. Ground and center. Just check in with yourself. I want you to think of something that has inspired you in the past. Something that has made your heart sing, has lifted your spirits. Could be anything at all. Imagine yourself doing a few minutes of this activity and how it would feel. How would it feel in your body to engage in this activity? How would it feel to be inspired and motivated? What changes, what you need to make in order to feel this? yourself making those changes and taking baby steps towards your heart's desire. And take another deep breath. How do you feel? Do you feel any connection with inspiration? Do you feel any connection with your own sense of drive and motivation, or any idea of some baby steps to help you get there? Well, in this meditation, I wanted you to use your imagination, which is one of the most powerful tools we have for tuning into our spirit, tuning into our inspiration. And if you can even just imagine feeling more inspired, even if you don't feel inspired or motivated right now, if you can imagine the feeling of it, that's programming your unconscious mind. And that's programming your psyche to start the wheels turning towards making changes that would help you feel more inspired. And I feel like, it's a really important point that it's not always a huge change. It might be as small as going out and working in the garden, and you haven't worked in the garden in a few months. This weekend in the United States, the weather is not great for that, but depending on where you are in the United States, I'll say in New England, it hasn't been great today. But maybe you start a potted garden inside. Maybe it's something small like watching a funny movie that just reminds you of just you remember how to laugh. All of these things count. And as we engage in small steps, it helps us to build that momentum towards a bigger step, towards a bigger change, and building that momentum towards feeling more inspired, more cheerful, and more motivated more of the time. I did have the impression we had a caller, and here, yes, we do have a caller, Monica in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. Hi, Monica.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, I can barely hear you. Let me turn the volume up. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, it kind of cuts off a little bit. I don't know if you can hear me clearly.
It cuts off. I can hear you clearly now. Is that any better?
A little bit better, yes.
Okay. I know we were having some technical issues today, but we'll make the best of it. Monica, welcome to the show. I'm talking about motivation and inspiration tonight. Did you have a comment about that, or did you have a question for a reading?
What was the subject?
Yeah, well, I was talking about inspiration tonight. I didn't know if you had a comment or a question about that, or if you wanted a reading.
Oh, inspiration, like pertaining to me right now?
Yeah, does something inspire you right now in this intense time?
Oh, so I like what I do for a living, and I love working. I work with patients, like outpatients at a hospital. So their stories sometimes inspire me. Some of the ones that I hear are really, hopeful and inspiring.
Great. Oh, there's nothing like helping people to make our hearts swell and activate that heart chakra, isn't there? That's beautiful. That's beautiful, Monica. Well, thank you for adding that to the show, and so callers could hear that. So how can I help you tonight, Monica? Do you have a question I could work with?
Well, surrounding that particular situation, there are some stresses and problems with work, with management and different things, which I'm a little bit concerned about, my livelihood and whether or not I'll be okay to stay there. There's been a lot of people who have been let go and a lot of people that are quitting for various reasons. I'm trying to hang in there because I love what I do.
All right. Well,
so,
I hear your concerns, and I think that makes sense that you would have your radar up right now. Let me, give me a moment while I just tune into your energy.
Okay.
Well, when I tune into your energy, Monica, I get this beautiful, motherly, nurturing energy. And I feel like you are helping your patients and the people at the hospital so deeply. And I feel like you are very deeply loved by the people in the hospital in general. Not just patients, but I feel like you're really appreciated. Like, people appreciate your really beautiful, loving, nurturing energy.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm kind of one of the older ones. I love the younger girls that I work with and try to mentor them a little bit. And I just, I love all the young phlebotomists and girls that I work with in the laboratory. They're good people.
Yeah, well, I feel that their appreciation for you, Monica, I feel that they really feel nurtured and supported by you. And I think that you're providing them with, more than just like a career mentorship, that there's really like a beautiful emotional flow there. So I'm feeling as that I'm tuning into that, you said that other people in the job are quitting, but I'm not getting the feeling like you're necessarily wanting to quit. I'm getting the feeling like you do want to hang on to this. Is that right?
Yeah, there's one manager that we have. They seem to be firing everybody, and they're people that I've worked with for years. And, you just sit there and wonder, oh my God, am I going to be next? Because it just seems like management is coming out of, they fired 3 people just recently, and one lady had been there for 28 years, and I've been there for 18. I'm wondering if they're just picking you off one by one, or
my goodness. Well,
that's
just so disturbing. And it's just so disheartening, and talk about a lack of motivation or inspiration. Let's see what the cards are saying here. I think you're going to stay here for at least a while longer. I don't think you're going to leave anytime soon. And I feel like, the people at the hospital are really appreciating what you're offering. I don't feel like management wants to let you go. And I call the Ace of Swords, which is a card of victory among strife and obstacles. And I feel with the Ace of Swords, you're really not ready to let go of this job. And I feel like, it actually wouldn't be that bad for you to let go of it, Monica. I don't feel like I'm sensing anything about you, being forced out. I feel like one of the messages is coming through with spirit. Yeah, go on. I'm sorry. Go on, Monica.
A lot of people are trying to pressure me into changing my position and moving out of where I'm at. And I don't want to do that out of fear, because I like what I do for a living. I think I'd be very unhappy if I wasn't doing the job I was doing.
And I can feel that. I can feel like you really don't want to leave. Yeah, I can feel like you don't want to leave. No. But if you change the perspective from, I have to leave because of, fear, people pressuring me, change that to maybe, opening to another paradigm, something like, I have the option to change positions if I want to. That can help to open up some of the energy so that it can take the pressure off. You don't have to leave. I don't see your job, in danger at this point, not in the near future, looking out, ahead. And I feel like it might be helpful for you to feel better about the situation at work, to remind yourself there are other opportunities out there, even if you don't take them, just to open your mind to it. And it might take the pressure off too, you know, even if people are leaving, remembering that both you and them have other opportunities available. So it's not, you know, it's not a death sentence if there's a change involved. It might be for the better.